a lot of negative stuff going around. So I thought it'd be fun to check in on our old buddy Ricky, who is at it again. Just did a interview with some people over at the Daily Beast, and I thought it'd be fun to go over because he's still making waves and telling it how it is, which I do enjoy. And I got some other stuff I want to go over as well, but this is the big one. So Ricky Gervais, as you know, did a big thing at the Golden Globes, and he's kind of been telling it how it is for the past couple of months, and I've thoroughly been enjoying it. Has a show on Netflix called Afterlife, which I have not watched. I'm thinking about watching it, though. It sounds entertaining. I'll let you in the comments tell me about it if you've seen it. Is this worth watching? Should I check it out? I've been looking for some new shows to watch, so if that's something good, let me know, and I will check it out. But anyway, what's going on here? So he did an interview talking about Afterlife, and of course, you know, the responding to people that have called him alt-right and stuff like that, giving him some much unneeded hate. The dude is he's actually pretty super left, which is that's kind of what really makes all of this funny with him, is because he's really not somebody that really endorses any kind of opinion of anyone on the right, but he does endorse free speech and some common sense, which I think is a quality most people like. At least I like that. I mean, I don't really care where people fall on the political spectrum. As long as you're cool and respectful, you get the same treatment from me. I'll be respectful and cool to you. As long as you're good to me, I'll be good to you. I think that that's a trait that a lot of people don't have anymore. Nowadays, it's you need to have my opinion or you're garbage. You need to share my beliefs or you are a terrible person and a hateful person. It's a product of the media and a lot of stuff that's been going on over the past couple of years, and it's unfortunate. And I think some of the stuff that's happening right now, you're seeing all that because of these attitudes. You know, it's my way or the highway. And it's nice to see it get called out. So most of this interview revolves around Afterlife and reasons for that show and what he thinks about it and what the meaning of the show is. That's not what I want to get into. What I want to get into is this stuff right here where he talks about free speech and Hollywood jokes and the Golden Globes and him talking about the N-word for some reason. So let's get into it. So here's the big one. I'm getting called alt-right for promoting free speech. So he says this: if I do a tweet about freedom of speech, people go, oh, he's alt-right now. And I think, when did that happen? Which is true. He's not even on the right, which I find funny, let alone like far right. I find that interesting. Like, and it really just shows some things. Like, so if you see anybody on Twitter or any kind of celebrity go against the narrative, you see him get tackled. And my video earlier, I talked about Sean Gordon Murphy, the DC Comics writer, how he said, you know, hey, look, I like equality. I want that. I also want good police, and I want to get rid of the bad police. This was not enough, and he had people calling him a racist and all kinds of stuff because he had a more middle ground take on it. Like, really, he had the common sense take. Hey, you know, let's get rid of the bad apples. Let's promote the good ones, and you know, let's work towards equality. It's not, you know, all police are bad people. He didn't have that opinion, so of course he needs to be canceled and taken out, which is the way that these people think. So he's like, the far right ones are the fascists, and they are the ones that were closing down free speech. And he says this: basically, people love the idea of free speech until they hear someone say something they don't like. That's it. It just becomes selfish. People try and justify it as well. They go, I'm all for freedom of speech, but, you know, that's the one thing you shouldn't joke about. Oh, you mean the one thing that you care about? What he says in here that I really liked was this one. Basically, people love the idea of free speech until they hear something they don't like. And that's kind of the big thing. It's not really free speech. Honestly, if anybody is the fascist, it's honestly the people on the far left. Those are the ones that support that ideology, but that never gets talked about. Oh no, they're anti-fascist, which is, it's funny because it's far from the truth. They actually want to shut down other people's speech. On Fox News, praising his woke Hollywood jokes. Even on Fox News, they said, well, no, Ricky is left-wing. He hates us. He hates Trump. Even the right was saying they know I'm left, so it's odd. I like that he calls that out, because the ones that are telling the truth are the people that don't like him. They're defending him. And the people that are hating on him are the people that he lines up with ideologically, which makes it all kind of funny. So he says, people pretend they don't like a joke for some reason, but you know what? They just don't like the joke having the target that they defend. That's the bottom line. They do a new one now. They go, I'm not offended, I'm just bored, or it's lazy. No, you mean you just don't like the joke. You liked it when I made the joke about the thing you don't like. You didn't like it when I made the joke about the thing you do like. Just admit it. I don't care if people like all the jokes, but don't pretend you've weighed it up and you're being the fair one. You just don't like the joke, and that's fine. And that's really kind of a big thing. So a lot of these people on the far left, they don't like it when, you know, their politics are smashed. They kind of have a monopoly on all of the media, social media especially. So when you go against them, you're automatically the enemy. But it's really funny here. And it's just how, like, liberally they use kind of like your super far right wing. They use it for everybody. They almost devalue it in some ways, because everybody that's not to the left is super far right. There really is nobody they consider in the middle anymore or just to the right. Everybody that disagrees with them is far right. And it's funny that they label him with these, because he's not. And the people that are defending him are the people that don't line up with him. And it's waking him up, and I think some other people, which is one of the reasons that I like talking about it when he comes out and says stuff. It says, on the brash Golden Globes persona, I never want to upset anyone. I think people fall for the marketing in a little bit, because I'm out there pretending to not care, and there's a poster with too hot to handle, and I go out there with a beer. He's drunk. He doesn't care. Well, you know, I've practiced these jokes in the mirror. They've been lawyered. They're not breaking any broadcast rules. How bad can they be? They're not libeling anyone. Also, it's not a room full of wounded soldiers. Most of these people are the most privileged people on the planet. I can tease them a little bit about that public behavior, which is funny because it just shows how sensitive these people are. If anybody that they consider, you know, one of them comes out and says anything about them, they get a little upset. And then you see the hit pieces come out and they pile on him. And that's exactly what happened. I remember after his Golden Globes speech that he gave that really lit up social media, they were talking about him being canceled and all kinds of stuff. I remember they dug up old things that were said about him or that he did, like really old stuff. And they were trying to cancel him. And a lot of that had to do with what he said was resonating with people. And because of that, he's got to go. It can't have people like him. And one thing that I've noticed is, as far as like far left sites, which is pretty much all of social media and a lot of regular media, they don't really talk about him anymore. You got to go to websites like this to find any coverage for him now. They've been trying to bury him for a while. I don't ever even hear his show Afterlife get any coverage anymore, which I find kind of funny. There was a few people talking about it before the Golden Globe stuff. After that, the main place that you even hear about it are websites like this or maybe some other people on Twitter. But other than that, it's almost like they want to bury him, which I find kind of disturbing. This last part here talks about some stuff where I guess he said the N-word, and they were educating it and discussing the word with Chris Rock, Louis C.K., and Jerry Seinfeld. And he points out here that apparently it's Chris Rock who got all the flack because he apparently, finger quotes here in the air, let them use it, so he got all of the flack. And he was thinking, well, that's a bit harsh. Of all the people in the room they attack over it, they go after Chris Rock. Kind of says a lot about the far left woke crowd, doesn't it? So that's pretty much it. He's still in the media, still kind of doubling down on his idea that these people are all hypocrites. Hollywood hypocrites has kind of been the word for it ever since he came out and talked about it, and I've been enjoying it. And I hope it keeps going on about this stuff. I really do enjoy seeing at least one celebrity call out the BS. We saw it recently with John Malkovich, where he called Twitter a tidal wave of idiots. I thought that was pretty humorous as well. Another star, Matthew McConaughey, came out and called out a lot of the BS. it's nice to see it. I'd like to see a little bit more. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I want to stop here. If you like the Tiger King stuff and you don't like Carole Baskin, there's some interesting news that came out recently. Carole Baskin apparently may have forged her missing husband's will. That's according to the sheriff of her county. So that's pretty interesting. I wonder how this is going to play out with that TV show that's coming, or if they're going to do another documentary. Anyway, I'm not going to go too in-depth on this one. I just wanted to put it in here to talk about it because I couldn't think of what video to put this in. I definitely wanted to at least comment on it because, like most people, I really enjoyed that Tiger King show. She also got control of his zoo, by the way. So that zoo that he had, she owns it now. She ended up getting it. I don't know how that works out. I know that Jeff guy has control of it now, not Joe. So I don't know how that's going to play out, especially with him owning it. So I don't know. Maybe she just gets the property. I think he ended up moving it anyway. So I don't know how this is all going to work out. Anyway, I think it's more than likely, though, that it is looking like she did end up taking out her own husband like he said she did. So there's a little bit of that there. I wonder if she's going to get in trouble for this will stuff. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this. And I'm Ricky, and I will see you guys on the next one. Oh, also, make sure you share the video. Throw a like up. Make sure you still subscribe. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.